Testing 3, 4, 2. Brainwave test. Camera test. Brainwaves on. Camera on. Brainwaves missing. Edit scene. Brainwaves. 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 Brainwaves on. Brainwaves. Brainwaves. Brainwaves appear. They're there. All right. Okay, we're getting ready. Just a few more minutes. We're going to be doing brainwaves and chess here tonight. For those of you that are new to my channel, you guys have to understand how it is. Let me see. I'm going to switch over the clock to see how much longer. 2 minutes. 2 minutes and counting. A few more people still going to arrive. One minute 21. Counting down. 1 minute 15. Brainwaves are looking really good. Delta is really high. "47 seconds. 46 seconds. 40 seconds. Ooh, getting close, getting close. Let's get ready to play here. 32 seconds. And go back to the gameplay. Brainwaves are on. Delta is really high. Everything's synchronized. Brainwaves are truly synchronized tonight. I think we're going to see some pretty incredible events here. Alpha's kicking up. Alpha's kicking up quite a bit. Delta 2. Beta, is one of those that we don't pay a lot of attention to sometimes, but it looks like it's kind of like one of those dark horses. It's like just kind of raring to jump up into action at any moment. Gamma's still low, but that's okay. I think we'll be able to play with as many waves as we have right there right now. So let's just go ahead and see if we can do the runabout here, the runabout and the run up. So create a game, shall we? This is going to be fun. A lot of people on the back channels tonight. Those of you who maybe might have noticed that I got more than 13,000 of my viewers erased recently, which I don't know how cool that is. But, that's kind of like what happens sometimes. You just, are going forward with a lot of viewers, a lot of all kinds of many, 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 many of the, and then they just got erased. I had 13,000 followers. But, it happens. I'm gonna do like a little tactical thingy majiggy here, but didn't work. um, Tactical things almost never work very well. Um, People need to play positionally if you really want to win at chess. It's really about the best way to go. Hmm, what's this queen doing back there? He's behind a pawn. I'm just gonna, before I do that, I'm gonna bring this over. I gotta prepare a little bit more. You might be preparing really too quickly here. I don't know. I'm not going to think this through too much. I'm going to throw that pawn up there blocking. And then without any more ado, I think I'll go on the offense here. What they call the offense. Hey, I'm back, man. Pro, new. What the hell? Where have you been, man? I haven't seen you around for a little while. But yeah, I'm always back. I'm one of those voodoo, what do they call them? Zombies. Just keep coming back for more. Uh, yeah, I'm back. All right. Okay, I brought that up for a reason, but I got to get this out of here first. He's got no place to go. I'm gonna put him over here. Sure, go ahead and shoot. I always love questions. Like they often hit me by surprise, but whatever you want to know, just let me. I'll go ahead and give you all my know-how. How's that? Oh no, what's happening here? I'm gonna run into trouble. I'm too weak on this. Yeah, I didn't make them follow me. They just decided to follow me. Like I didn't have anything to do about that. So, but they count. Bots also count as followers as far as I understand. I don't think anyone I gotta have a I'm gonna lose a pawn here really quick. I guess I gotta bring this over here. Yeah, I think all the bots have a mind of their own. I think what they did is they followed me and then they decided they had enough, I suppose you could say. I don't know why they did that. They just followed me and then decided to unfollow me. But, bots, you're right though. They probably just decided like I was thinking it was Twitch that like unfollowed them somehow. But maybe you're right. But I had 13,000 of them, which is quite a few. Quite a few to say the least. I don't know how many people have 13,000 followers on Twitch, but I sure did for a while. It was pretty cool. Well, we lost a pawn there, but I might be able to make up for it somehow. I just gotta figure out. I'm gonna get rid of this knight that's in the middle. I had 13,000 followers, and it was so cool. It was incredible. I loved it. I'm telling you, like, If you've ever had the feeling of having 13,000 followers on Twitch, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was totally excellent. Um, I guess I could have taken his queen there. I don't know what happened. Guess I missed out on taking his queen, but it would have been cool. Yeah, I wish I could get like another 13,000 tonight. It would be so cool. I wouldn't mind just getting them. 2 minutes against 2014. 2 minutes and 14. Uh, what's going to happen now? I want to, you know what I want to do? I want to take this pawn with my bishop. You have 2,000 subs? Wow. Holy Toledo. Yeah, you're right. I went over there and I looked at your site. It was pretty incredible. You do have a million subs and stuff. Like, it's pretty incredible. I mean, and you got to get them the hard way. I kind of like get them the easy one. Where all these bots start showing up and they just start following, it's an easy way to do it. But, they still count. As far as I understand, if you got a bunch of bots following you, that's. Oh no. I have a trouble here with my. I'm going to bring it out here and see. I can lift this rook over to here and then get more attacks on that pawn, maybe. See, he had a line on my rook with his queen. Wow, 2,000 subs. Why don't you do me a favor and just give him a call out? Say, hey, go over there and look at brainwaves. You don't have to mention my name. Just say, have you ever seen brainwaves and chess at the same time? Just ask him. And just say, it's like mind blowing. They'll start showing up in droves. I think the real humans are actually better than the bots when you get them. They're harder to get, but if you can get. What the hell is happening here? See, now he's going to come down here. I'm going to have to get this knight back into play. I thought he might do that, but he still can't go anywhere. I'm going to come over here because he really still can't get me. Oh, I could have checkmated him right there. That was so stupid. I had a checkmate, believe it or not. I was like looking at a million other things. My knight is doing a stalwart job against him. Should I just keep my knight there? No, I can't. What can I do? I guess I'll bring my rook over. It's not doing much good there. He'll take my knight, but I can take his knight, and we'll have two queens left. I think I'll do that. Oh, I thought he might do that. I end up with a. But you know what? I still think I'm gonna win this game because on time. I only got. He's got 53 seconds. I mean, I got a lot more time than he does. He's just gonna have to go off or broke. That helped a lot. That was a mistake. I should have went this other way, but all right. Wow, we won a game. That was so cool. Yeah, you remember about the Eleusinian mysteries. Well, I I remembered that from a previous life. I was just dreaming one night and I knew that I had been there. And I didn't even know what they were or anything. And I thought, what is that? And I looked it up on the internet and it was so totally incredible. they were celebrated for more. Well, let's play another game here. I don't want to get chatting too much. Let's go ahead and play another game. If anything more comes to mind, I'll let you know about that. But yeah, they're on the way. The Eloisian mysteries are coming. They're going to be here within 2 years. I'm sure of it. They were celebrated, for more than 2,000 years. And then the Roman Empire decided they didn't like them, and they put an end to it. It was a horrible suppression, but a lot of people don't know, and you won't find any information about this around the internet anywhere. But they actually kept going. They've been celebrated ever since. They've never really stopped. Every year they continue to have them. Every year. And that's the thing. People just don't realize it, but they keep having them. They had them last year. I didn't attend last year. Well, look them up. You can. There's a lot to learn about them. It's like a huge tradition, really, really huge and very important. Wow. Crap. Don't know what he's doing here. It's like, what can I do? Guess go back here. I don't know. It's kind of like screwed up right now. I think I made a couple of mistakes there. Just gonna have to castle here kind of quickly, or is he gonna keep coming? I guess I better give a little peek out over here before I castle. We'll see what happens now with these mysteries. They're not exactly Eleusinian mysteries, but they are mysteries nonetheless. Should I just get him out there? Maybe that'll freak him out a little bit. I always like to freak out my opponents as much as I can. I gotta do something with my bishop, for Christ's sake. I don't know what I can do with him, though. The queen's not doing me much good right there. I'm gonna bring it out over here, I think, and just go for the end game. Okay, we'll go for an end game here. I'm a minute down, but maybe I should have taken my queen. My plan was to go with the end game, right? And then I didn't follow through with the plan like I wanted to. Should have followed through with the plan like always. I forget about the plan. Okay, okay. We got this under control, I think. Um, Gotta get him the hell out of there. He was sticking out there like a sore thumb. Ooh, what are we doing on time here? Ooh, we're about equal. Where's he going, eh? Think I was intending to bring him back to here. I don't know why, but he's getting a threat on me now. Don't like that. I gotta move over there to get rid of the pin. And then if he comes through, it's not such a bad thing. Ah, man, you're gonna go. Oh, okay, well, you gotta go. But tell your friends, man. Tell everybody. Say, hey, Brainwaves. Don't mention my name. That's like a obvious call out. Just say, have you ever seen Brainwaves in chess? It's like the coolest thing in the world. And they'll come. They'll come flocking. That's gonna be so cool. Can't wait. Am I gonna get checkmated here? I think so. I got too excited about that whole situation. Um, I don't know what to do. Sacrifice a pawn, maybe? I don't know. I mean, a knight. Oh no, that's going to be even worse. He's going to take my knight, and then I'm going to be in big trouble. Did I almost save myself, maybe? Um, should I come over here, maybe? I don't know. Just so incredibly weird. This is like the weirdest game I've played in about 3 ages. I want to come over here because my king can maybe escape over to there. You're going to tell your friends to watch my streams? God damn it. That is just so excellent. I can't believe you're going to do that. That is like the best news that I have heard all night. Now what? Well, now what? Now what? Come on. Maybe come over here? Is he trying to checkmate me or something? Suppose I come over here. I think I got a pin on his king now with that rook. I'll just see. See, I come over here. He's going to come up with his pawn, but he's going to have... Oh, there. See, he brought his king out of there. Should I just come down here with my bishop or come up here with my queen? I got to move fast. He's going to come up with his... I think this is my best move, actually. And now, should I just get my king the hell out of there? Ha! That might actually work. I'm gonna get my king completely out of there. How many how many goddamn minutes do we have here? Only a minute and 23 against 2 minutes? Oh, that's pretty cool. Fuck yeah! I don't like to swear, but I got a pin right there and I attack his queen at the same time. Was that bad or was that good? I don't know. I'll bring the bishop back. What should I do? Should I take him right here now? He's going to take me there if I don't pay attention. I don't know what's happening here. If anybody knows what's happening, you can let me know because I'm like the last person that could tell you what's happening in this situation. But my queen's going to come out. And now my queen's definitely coming out. If I can just keep checking him, I might be able to get a checkmate down there. And I got my... Oh, I can't bring my bishop out because he's pinned. But I can bring my queen over to here. Just going to bring my queen up to there. Checkmate! All right. Yeah. You brought me good luck, man. Noob. That is so cool. You got 2K subs, man. If you got 2K subs, you're going to be bringing me a lot of traffic. Really, a lot of traffic. That'll be great. And I don't know. Do you think we should? Do you think that we should analyze our game? How many people think we should analyze that game? Let me know. Hmm. That's a pretty cool checkmate, though. And did you guys see the brainwaves? Did you see them? Those were the most amazing brainwaves. Like I was looking at them out of the corner of my eyes. It was like my delta went way up. The delta goes up on insight, by the way. And when the delta goes up, it's like something spectacular is about to happen. And that was pretty cool, that checkmate down there. So what do you say? Should we let's do the analysis board? Okay. That was excellent. So let's go ahead and do it. I got a lot of viewers. People tell me no that I don't, but I'm just looking at 2,208 viewers here. It jumps around quite a bit, but people tell me I'm looking at something else. What am I looking at? I don't know. It's right here in the interface. It looks like it says viewers, but um, I don't care if they're viewers or not. I think it's important just to keep, whether it's viewers or not viewers. But this was an interesting game. You see, look, he's in checkmate, right? It's a pretty cool checkmate position. Before we go back and analyze this, why don't we just go ahead and look at this position? Because the queen is checking the king, and I was kind of surprised, to tell you the truth, that was checkmate. But see, this square, I thought he was going to back up, but he can't because see, the bishop is over here. And he can't go to this square because it's covered twice by the knight and by this pawn. And he can't go here or he can't go here because of the rook, and he can't go there because of the queen. So he can't go. He's got nowhere to go, and the queen is being protected by the knight. So that's a kind of a classic checkmate. I don't know that has ever happened before in the history of chess. Now, you might be able to find some game somewhere where you had this configuration where the knight was being protected by the rook, the knight was protecting the queen was attacking the king while being protected by the knight that's being protected by the rook. And then the only other square that matters is this square, which could be protected by a knight, say here, or a pawn, say here, but in this case it was protected by a bishop way over here. And by the way, the bishop is pinned. But it's still checkmate because look, if the king tries to escape up into this square, which it can't because it's against the rules to move into chess, but let's just break the rules once or bend the rules and say, let's suppose it moved up there, it escaped checkmate theoretically, right? No, because if it's going to break the rules, like my son always did with me, he would just like start moving when he's in a checkmate position. If he tries to break the rules by moving out over to this square, what I can do is I can take him. And then white can complain and say, no, you can't do that. You moved into check. And I'll say, yes, but you did too. So if you moved into check here, I'm going to take you. And then he'll say, well, I just took your king. And I'll say, well, guess what? I took your king first. So either way, I win. That's the way I had to play with my son because he was always like trying all kinds of tricks and stuff. So I know these kinds of reasonings to follow. So if you ever meet up with people that try to talk you out of a checkmate, just remember you saw it here on Steinitch channel. So let's go back to the beginning because this was a very interesting game, I think. So here we go. Let me see what this looks like to you guys. Oh, you don't see the. Oh man, you're not gonna see the chess analysis. The chess. I gotta reposition this board a little bit. And that game was interesting because I had quite a chat with Newbie, who was here during the whole thing, and he's like an old follower type person, and it was a great, really great type of chat because newbie told me, pro noob told me he's gonna tell all his friends to watch my streams, and he has 2K subs. Holy Christ! There's gonna be a lot of people here. I don't know when they're gonna come. I don't know when he's gonna tell them, but if he tells them soon, look, look at the delta. And the alpha just went way, way, way up too. It's like just talking about this idea about getting so many people to watch my streams just like shot my brainwaves like into orbit, really into orbit. Look at the delta. It keeps moving up, but it can't really move up indefinitely because brainwaves are kind of like energy in physics. There's a certain conservation involved. They go up and they got to come down. They can't just stay up there. It takes this is like a law, okay? I've been working with these brainwaves long enough that I think you know me. It's a Steinitz law of brainwaves. We shouldn't say what goes up has to come down because that sounds like cliche, but I think we can say that brainwaves that are up too long are unsustainable. And I don't know if what's the underlying principle there, but it seems like if you watch the patterns, you'll see that they go up, but they're never going to stay up for a long time. They can't. They just can't. So let's go ahead and move through this on the analysis board. I'm going to try to get everybody in on the graph. I'm going to request a computer analysis here. I'm going to I'm going to get this a little bit smaller so the graph appear. Oh, it appeared. Yes. We got it appearing. Fully, fully, fully. This was an interesting game, wasn't it? Look at that. Look at that graph. White actually had the upper hand in the beginning of the game. But then I had a great luck because I started talking with Pro Noob 2 about this, and Pro Noob 2 started about here, and then I was talking with Pro Noob 2, and I like lost my concentration, and I went into a kind of a unconscious programming that just brought white down, down, down. People who have watched my channel before know how I analyze these graphs on Lichess. The white is the continent, the dry land. The dark is the ocean. And this started out on the land and kept on the land. There was like a little Death Valley here, and then went way, 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 way up. And then I started talking to Pro Noob 2, and then wow, it started coming down, 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 down. And after that, White had a little reprieve there, just a short reprieve, and then down to the depths, and a couple of oceanic underwater mountaintops there, and then down into what you'd call a deep sea trench, from which White never recovered. So that's the graph analysis. And now let's go ahead and click through the game. This was a King's opening by White, and this was a kind of an irregular opening, I guess you could call that, by Black because oh, the Carol can, look, the pawn is up to support this one. Let's see what happens here. So that one went up into the center, and oh yeah, by plan or design, that one came up. Oh, wow. That was disheartening, right? Came up past. But never fear, we'll move that up and we'll try to get some play over here on this side. And now White thinks it's developing, and it is developing. I think white is playing a very good opening here. If you look at the stockfish, they're ahead ever so marginally, but very little. Bishop comes out, queen comes out, bishop takes, pawn takes. And once again, we're doing okay. It's almost 0-0. Like white's ahead about a pawn or so, but as long as it's edgy, that's the main thing. And white's missing some opportunities here because he moved his pawn, and you see that's a big question mark. Now it's 0-0 again. Now, black should not have done that. Black apparently had a better move. Let's see what it was. Oh, should have just brought the pawn up? That's weird. Never would have thought of that. Oh well. Um, Again, another question mark. The question mark put the knight up here, but it looks like white is not responding very well to all the advantages because it's ahead, but did not respond to those. I moved back. If you guys were watching the game, you remember I was like a little bit disoriented at this point. And right there, 0-0 again. Right, we're not doing too bad. A double question mark? Wow, was that one of my blunders then? If you have a double question mark, is that the same thing as a blunder? Yeah, that's the same thing as a blunder. I put my mouse here and you see that's one of my blunders. The red dots are my blunders. That was my first blunder of the game. But we won this game, so thanks to ProNoob 2. Now, I came up here because I wanted to go into an end game. And as it turned out, I didn't go into the end game because I didn't follow through with my plan. Maybe it was better I didn't follow through on my plan because white is like really ahead right now going into the end game. And look at this. White's over here attacking me like he's almost got a checkmate here. He comes up there, puts me in check, like forking my queen, but fortunately I can take. Oh, let me just go back one move because I thought this was interesting. See, he came up here with his queen, and right now I'm in trouble because if he checks me here, I lose my queen. And maybe even get checkmated if he checks me there. My king goes there and go in. Anyway, Stockfish is saying bring the rook over to give my queen a king an escape square. Oh wow. You know what? Stockfish says to do that, but you can't do what Stockfish says because I would lose my queen if I did that. Hey man, you're here, Satjak. I can't believe you're here. You can't believe what just happened. I just got a guy here. Wow, it's like, or a person. You remember him. He was here before at the same time you were. It's called ProNoob 2. He asked me a few pointed questions, and because I was able to engage in the proper way and everything, he went away saying he was going to tell all his friends to watch my channel, and he's got 2K subs. 2K subs. So there you go. I'm made. I'm like a made man now. Like all of my worries are gone completely, and everything's good. This is better than the night when I got the 1.3K. You were here, right, Satjak, when I got the 1.3K followers? That was so cool. And they were all bots, and they all went away. They like just as they can subscribe, they decided to unsubscribe, or I don't know, to follow and then unfollow, and they all disappeared and left me with my 37, which I need 50 to start to get monetized. But I've been told by certain sources not to monetize, that monetizing might not be in my best interest right now. Let's put it that way. So I don't know. But it would still be nice to have the option of monetizing, get 50 followers. And I might be able to do that with ProNoob's help because You see what he asked me? He asked me about the Eleusinian mysteries because I think he's from Lichess, and there I have a thing on Lichess that says that Eleusinian mysteries are returning within 2 years. I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Steinich, and whenever I stop these streams, I go into the Twitch producer and I hit a little button there called export, and it goes right to YouTube. I think out of the 100 streams I've done, like 99 of them at least are there. I always try to remember to put them there. And I actually get more comments on my, well, I shouldn't say more comments, but I get some comments on my YouTube channel. Some people there left the other day a very interesting, well, I'm not going to talk about my, this is, you're getting me off track a little bit, but that's cool. I love to get off track, as you might know. But anyway, we were just doing this analysis, and I was saying, I would never do what Stockfish is saying. I would lose my queen if I did that. What I did during the game, look, I'm going to click here so you see. I got my king out of the check because, out of the pin because I didn't want his knight to come up here and fork my queen. So I moved my king out and got a question mark on that. But then the queen came over, checked me. The king comes back, but now it's no problem. It's not pinned, right? So I'm playing pretty good, I think. Now it came up, checking the queen, but guess what? I can take him now because he's not pinned anymore. And look at that. White's still ahead. And I was talking to Pro Noob at this time about the Eleusinian mysteries. And I think that helped me because I decided, well, this knight's not doing anything over here. So let's bring him over here. If he gets taken, that's all the better because it gets this pawn out of here because that pawn is really threatening to checkmate me. So I just decided to bring the knight over. And if he gets taken, he's doing a stalwart job by sacrificing himself. Um, I guess you could call that a knight sacrifice. I guess they call that a knight sacrifice, but it doesn't look exactly like a sacrifice, but it might be one. And then the knight came up here attacking the queen. And white is still very, very far ahead. And this is very educational because this is an educational chess channel, as you all know. Um, I try to teach the fundamentals, and one of the fundamentals is get your pieces out of danger and attack at the same time, which I did there. The queen came up, putting me in check again. If I bring the knight back here to block, it's obviously going to be checkmate. So I brought the king out, and now, ooh, look at that! He decided to displace my knight by doing a double, double, double blunder. Oh, that's a double blunder. And I'll tell you why it's a double blunder. Because he's starting to open his king up to attacks on this file with my bishop. With I always call them bishops, but they're rooks. That's one thing. I'm dreaming at night, and if I wake up in the middle of the night and say rook or bishop, it's probably the other thing because I'm constantly confusing those. So anyway, he's starting to open up himself, his king up to danger. And I brought the rook over here, and I did that because I thought if he comes over here and checks me, I can bring the queen over, checking his queen and then attacking this pawn. And who knows, I might have some other things. But I thought I'll get my king out of there. And so I thought, well, bring the rook over. I think you can see the logic. You bring the rook way over in the corner to give the king some moving maneuverability, you might call that. So that's why I did that. And then he decided, well, I'm gonna bring my my king out of there, you know. So I guess you could say I was lucky there because I blundered, he blundered. Look at this, how it's coming down. So never give up. That's why this is an educational channel. So I went over here and attacked him with my bishop, which I think was a pretty strong move because he cannot interpose his pawn. He just loses it. If he interposes his rook, that's not too great because he gets he loses the exchange. So he he went back where he was. So now I'm starting to get in this game. This is just about where Pro Noob told me I gotta go. Bye. He told me. But then he told me I'll tell my friends to watch your stream. So Pro Noob, as you know, has 2K followers. Made me totally happy, and that's what gave me the animus, the real animus, to finish this game in good style. So let's see how it went. So I've decided, well, that rook's not doing me very good behind all these pawns. I'm going to bring him over here. I'm going to attack his queen. If his queen comes over here, I was thinking about bringing my knight here because if he brings his pawn up, attacking my knight, he still can't take my knight because his I got him checked and I can actually take him. And if I take him and he takes with the queen, then I bring this rook over and you see I got the queen and the king in the same line. The same line. So that was very well planned. I'm still basically losing the game, but I have this thing planned. So I brought the knight over just like according to my plan, but apparently White saw it because White said, well, I'm bringing my king out of there. I'm going to bring him off the pin. And Stockfish is saying to bring the queen up to here. Now, I'm telling you, believe me, don't do what Stockfish tells you because this would have been a losing move. I would never bring the queen over there because the queen can't go anywhere from here. It's got the two rooks here. It can't come down here attacking the king. Just don't do that, okay? Do like I did. Bring the rook up here. Why? Because this pawn is defending very well against the bishop. And when this comes up here, it also protects the knight. And if he brings the pawn up here, you're going to find resources, okay? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to show with this. It's like if you don't It's exactly. It's exactly. You're not playing against a computer. You're playing against humans. So you gotta play like you're playing against humans. There's an old saying: "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." And when you're playing a human, you gotta play like a human, right? Humans cannot calculate like stockfish, but the difference is humans calculate different than stockfish. And because you're playing a human, you also need to calculate different than stockfish. This is something that, like a lot of chess channels won't teach you, but I teach here for people not to take stockfish too seriously because stockfish is stockfish. Okay, that's that's one thing, and chess between two humans is another. So I did what I believe was the correct move. I brought my rook up to there. And Stockfish had also brought me down. Look at that. It's almost 0-0 now. Almost 0-0. All because of the conversation I had with Pro Noob 2. And look at that. White thought, well, I'm going to lift a rook. During the game, I was thinking, what's he lifting that rook? Where's he going to go? He can't go here. He's behind this pawn. What's he going to do there? It's like, Was he in time trouble or what? No, not really. 235 against 134. Don't know why White did that. White is just, sometimes they get during this period in here, and this is why I have the brain waves and other people don't have the brain waves and they don't realize all this. But probably during this period, his brain waves were getting really uppity, like totally up there in the air. And he didn't realize yet that he was coming down, really coming down. So at this point, I said, well, I'm going to get my king the heck out of here because I got this rook lined up against his king. I have this pin here with the knight coming out. If I can just get my king the heck out of there, it's going to be good. So that's what I did. And look at that. Wow. Looking good for black. Suddenly black is ahead in this game and going strong. So we're doing psychological and we're doing brainwave action here. This is what the brainwaves are all about. And I moved my king over here and I should have followed according to plan and taken here. If I'd taken right there, I would have been really, really far ahead. Look at that. But I decided, I was just talking. Pro Noob 2 was no longer here at this moment, but I was just kind of like still in the frame of thought. I was thinking, well, let me get my king the hell out of there while I can because my I wanted to get my king out of all that danger. It was like just kind of like a irrational thing I did. And suddenly, okay, so he missed his chance and moved his queen over here, and now it's all she wrote. All she wrote, according to history, I mean. Um, the knight comes up here, takes the pawn, attacking the queen. This thing's gonna fall. I got the two rooks lined up. What else can you ask for, right? So this was a game that met a pivotal, very, very pivotal position, and just by holding on and not giving up. And that's a lesson for life, right? Now, that was a surprise. I didn't even see that coming. Look at that. The queen comes down. The king can't go here or here because of the pawn. It looks almost like checkmate, blah, blah, blah. I can bring the queen here, trading the queen. Okay, but then I thought, well, I had this resource. I brought the bishop back, still threatening with that. And there I go with the knight, putting her in check. The king comes up. I made like a little mistake there. He took there, I took there. And then I went up there with the pawn. Oh, when I went up there with the pawn, that was actually a really good move. Look at that. Let me see what Stockfish is saying to do. Oh, I had to turn this on to see what Stockfish says. Did I find the right move there or what? Let me see. Yeah. Look, when I put it here, it shows the best move is right there. And finally, I did the right thing in this game. I moved the pawn up like I was supposed to. Why did I do that? Because it gives my queen an opening against his king, and it protected this knight. And my bishop is still protected. So now it's all she wrote. The pawn comes up attacking my queen, but guess what? My queen wants to skate out anyway. Up there, check. And this was the mate of the night. Now, I'm not saying this. Oh, did you guys see my alpha? Wow, it was just so high. Look at it there. Look. Oh, it went out of sight now, but my alpha was just so high when I saw that. So I come up here and now look at this combination. The king goes over. The queen comes up there, check. The king cannot take the knight because the knight is protected, and that's checkmate. That's checkmate. The knight is protected by the rook. The queen is protected by the knight. The king can't go anywhere because of this bishop. And that's it. King can't move anywhere, right? The king does not have a legal move. When the king doesn't have a legal move, that's the definition of checkmate. Don't listen to anyone else. If someone else gives you a different definition, none of them are true. I have analyzed every definition of checkmate that exists, and I'm going to tell you right now, when the king does not have a legal move, that's checkmate. There's no other way. All right. Like you can try to define it in different ways, but I can find a problem with any of your definitions. Okay. Because some people say, well, it has to do with your king being taken. Okay. So this is what my son used to do. He used to move his king like up here, and I can't do that on elite chess. But let's suppose he moved his king up here, and then I could take him. So I take his king. And then he'll say to me, well, you can't take his king because if you take his king, that's not a legal move because you'll be in check. But I'll say, okay, so take my king. I'm in check. Take my king. So he takes my king. And I say, did you win because you took my king? He'll say, yeah, I took your king. I'll say, guess what? I took your king first. You see how that works? So you don't, believe me, that's the legal, the real official definition of being in checkmate is you don't have a legal move. So let me see if I have any challenges. If I have any challenges, I'll play them. No challenges. I don't know. Does any of the viewers have like a classic game they want to analyze or anything? That could be cool. Or we could talk about Eleusinian mysteries. That would be also pretty awesome. But if you don't, we'll just do one more game. That'll be fun. Okay, well, without any more ado, I guess it's on our one more game. All right, let's do one more. Because I know, Sajak, just like here, it must be late where you are, right? It's got to be extremely late here. It's like just about my bedtime. Oh, wait a second. No, wait. 3:35 a.m. Yes, that's right. You are so early. You are so early. Well, the early bird gets the worm, as they say, so I think I can easily predict a worm that's in your future today. Oh, and speaking of futures, I have a crystal ball. Let me show you. Let me see if I can see this even. I gotta switch out of here. Let me see if you can see this. This is a crystal ball. It's not glass, it's a real quartz crystal. Look, I'm gonna try to focus in on it here so you can see. That is a real quartz crystal. And you can see the future inside there. So a lot of people don't really understand about crystal balls and how they work, but it basically and always was a situation where people are projecting, right? It's like a Rorschach blot. And you look into the crystal ball and you can see the future in there because your brain is amazing. It's the most complicated thing in the whole universe. It's the most complicated thing in the universe, and it can do things that are more than spectacular. It actually can see into the future given the right stimulus. And if you have a crystal ball like that, you can see it. And I'm telling you, you know, Sajak, you're one of my consistent. I should say, I think that's the best word. Consistent viewers, and because you're up early today, I saw that. I saw it very clearly. Let me look once again. I'll tell you exactly what I see. Uh, some kind of wood, something involving wood, but very auspicious. Okay, so without any more ado, let's go ahead and play one more, shall we? So create a game, and here we go. See what happens. We are on Lichess. Sorry, we encountered an error while creating your game. Okay, I gotta try again. Well, that was cool. I think I never even saw that before, but this board is really small right now. It's like the smallest board I've ever seen. But that's kind of cool actually because it reminds me of the little boards that I used to see when I read chess books. I haven't read chess books in a long time, but when you look at chessboards, chess books, they have those really little. What's happening here? Oh my God! Is this an opportunity or is this a horrible mistake? I think I don't know. I'm just thinking that I got to get rid of that pawn. I've never seen a game like this before. I'm gonna come up here and I'm just gonna try to discombobulate him. Um, those of you who have seen the Sherlock Holmes movie will know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna act like I don't know what I'm doing and bring the rook back, and I have a very powerful attack right now. And it's like he thinks I'm discombobulated myself. That doesn't help me though. But should I take that? No. I'm going to come up here first because I want to get this bishop on a white square before I go any further. I want to get the bishop against that knight. I could almost come up. Yeah, I think that's a winning move. I can't be sure about this, but we'll look at the stockfish after this, shall we? And are there any fans here of the Sherlock Holmes movies? Those were so great. Um, the guy was so great when he. Oh wait, but that kind of like thwarted me, or did it? Let me see. Kind of like thwarted me. Never watched him. I'm going to come up here because I'm going to come back up because now I think it's a little bit different. This is different. I know what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I said I know what I'm. I lied. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I should have said I have like a kind of a glimmer of an idea. I can take him. And he can't take with his queen because I'll take with my rook. And what is his goddamn knight going to do there? I'm going to come up here because I'm going to come over here with my queen. If this works, I'm going to grant myself or bestow on myself the Brainwave prize for tonight. I don't know if that's legal. Now I can take this pawn or I can take this pawn. I think this looks kind of strong, but I don't know. Actually, it's not that strong because he just takes with his rook. If he slides his rook over, it's going to be really strong. But if he takes with his rook this knight, he has ways to protect that knight. But not many ways, does he? He's going to have to move his knight out of there. And when he moves his knight out, I can develop this bishop up to here. Or something else. We'll see. He's got to move his knight out. If I take his knight, I win a piece and put him in check at the same time. Now I could come back here with my queen, and he would have to move his king out. Or I could take this first. I think it's my strongest move is to take that first. Look at my brainwaves. Did you see the delta? Did you see the delta up pretty high right there? The delta goes up high on insight, so hopefully I had good insight. Now the pawn's there, but maybe I already have a winning move. Let me see. If it comes up here, the king's got to go over here. Then I can take here. I'm gonna do it. Check him right there. Leave the bishop hanging right now because I might have an attack here that pins his queen. And then you see I can come here. I don't know though. And then I got to. I did have different possibilities, so I could come up here, but then he brings his queen up here, and it's like all canceled out. So maybe I should put him in check there because this bishop was not doing any good there. Now, if I bring my king queen over here, I can transfer the queen to the other side. That's what I'm thinking about. And the queen is not doing me a lot of good over here, so I'm going to do that. I think the main thing is to transfer my queen to the other side. And I'll have a checkmate here really soon. I'm threatening checkmate here, and then bring the bishop back to here. And I think that's all she wrote. He can interpose with the pawn, but I think that's it. Unless I'm mistaken. Is there anything he can do? Oh no, that's it. Checkmate! Oh, wow, that was great. You know, my brainwaves didn't even react. You know why? Because they didn't react because I already saw that in advance. You know, and then suddenly, yeah, oh yeah, that was great. I love that game. And then suddenly after the game is when my delta went way up. Why? Because I had already envisioned everything. There was no surprises there. But then as I started, like explaining about it, then my delta went way up saying, well, yeah, that is true. I wasn't reacting to the game. My delta was not related to the game so much as to the reaction to the game, right? I had an insight about the reaction of the game, not about the game itself. So that's why the delta went way up. The delta, by the way, the red one, goes way up because of insights that I have. So that was an interesting game. Um, I think it's worthwhile. I think everyone will agree, and I say everyone because I have right now 1,051 viewers. People tell me those are not viewers, that there's something else, but I don't know. It says underneath. It's hard to read, but I think it says viewers. Um, but I think all of my viewers are just like zoning out watching brainwaves, and that's cool. I do the same thing when I have brainwaves in front of me. I just watch them, and I can't think or I can't really communicate or talk or chat or anything. So I understand why my viewers don't chat very much. But let's go ahead and look at this position. This is a classic checkmate. Okay, I always begin my analysis with the checkmate position. And that is a very, very, very classic checkmate position. I'm going to tell you why. Because the queen and the bishop are lined up on a diagonal, which is very strong for two reasons. Am I in focus? I gotta make sure I'm in focus. You know, my assistant producer Paul is not here today again. Um, he told me his bus was late, and I got to do all the focusing and everything by myself. But we'll manage. We'll get our way through here. So what I was gonna say is this is a very strong mating attack because the queen and the bishop are on a diagonal, on the same diagonal, which means two things. First of all, the queen is protected by the bishop, and if the king does find a place to go back, the queen can still advance on the diagonal being protected by the bishop. So it's a pretty strong, if it was protected by the knight, it might not be nearly so, it might not be quite so strong because it can't really advance and still be protected by the knight at the same time. So this is a very strong position. And the king is on the side of the board. Now that's quite important for checkmate positions. And for those of you who have never understood why, it's simply because, as I explained in the last game, the king is in checkmate when it has no legal move. What does that mean? It cannot move into check, and it must move somewhere on the board. So if you can manage to get the king over to the side, as I did here, you already eliminate 1, 2, 3 squares. 1, 2, 3 squares that are just eliminated. Like the king cannot just go off the board, right? So I don't have to have peace. I don't have to have a rook over here like guarding all this whole rank or something, this whole file. I don't have to have a rook over here. Um, the king simply cannot go off the board. So the king already, if the king is in somewhere in the center, it has, like, let's suppose he was right here. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places where he can go, which is equal to 3 squared minus 9. 3 squared, why? Because the king can move. He's on 1 square. He can move that direction 1. He can move that direction 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. It's 3 in a square, so that's 3 squared, 9. Minus 1 is 8 squares that the king can move to. But when he's on the side of the board, he only has 6 squares. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only has 5 squares. Yeah, that's right. 8. Yeah, he has 8 in the middle and he has 5 when he's there on the side. So he's only got 5 squares he can move to. And that puts you at a very good advantage. The king only has 5 squares. And the queen, being so powerful, she controls all of this. And she controls in this direction too. The only place that the queen does not control is this square, which is the pawn. And the pawn is there because pawns are very often there because they're on the second rank and the king came out from way over here and got over here somehow. So that's why we're in checkmate. Okay, so let's see how the king got from this position all the way over to this position and got checkmated, shall we? So let's go ahead and analyze this game. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning, as they say. There we are. That's how all chess games begin. So without any more further ado, I'm going to make this game a little bit smaller so that everything fits. And I'm going to ask for a computer analysis where you can see the entire graph. Ooh, wow, look at that. Wow, that is pretty amazing. Steinitch here on the top, which is me, had two blunders, two mistakes, and my opponent had four. Four mistakes. And you see the how it began kind of even, and then I suddenly went up, and then vacillating, and then down a little bit, and then really up. So let's see how that ended because I think the checkmate was the most important part of this game. So here we go. Um, as you know, I always play the King's Gambit. That's pretty predictable. And then that's something that I guess I've seen that before, and you're supposed to respond by either the pawn up here or the pawn here. The pawn up here seems kind of strange, but it's actually good because it expands the scope of the rook. Oh, I did that. I actually played according to the book, which is something. Now, this was something I don't see very often, and in fact, it's kind of a blunder by black. And you guys remember during the game, oh, look at my delta, how it went way up like that, because I got some self, how do they call that? It's a word for that. It's like reinforcement or something. Like I reinforced my idea where I had never seen that before, and it is kind of odd, like double question mark. Doesn't a double question mark mean a blunder? Am I wrong about that, or I think it means a blunder. So that's why I don't see that very much because he blundered right there. If I click here, we can see where he should have moved. Now I think we can see. Go back one move where he should have went. Well, they normally come up here, but he went there, which was a blunder. If I put down here, oh yeah, you see it's a blunder. If I put my mouse right here on his blunders, this was his blunders, their blunders. Yeah, it's a blunder. Because look, right there on the blunder, you can see the four white dots. That was a blunder. So if you're ever playing black, don't do that. And I think I found the right move. Let's see if I did. Yes, that's what I did. Look, if I in Stockfish, it's kind of weird. Stockfish is usually user friendly, but you have to put your mouse here on these strange numbers and letters and numbers. Put them on the letters and numbers up at the top, and you normally can find where this arrow appears. But you see the arrow that appears? I took there. That was Stockfish's move too. That was excellent. Now I came up here. That's the blue arrow. And they're saying I should have moved there. I was thinking about that. But I thought, let's discombobulate him. Those of you who are watching the game remember, I said, let's discombobulate this person. And they made another mistake. And now I moved back. And I did that for a reason. I can't for the life of me remember the reason, but I think it had to do with discombobulation. There I made a mistake, but I'm still really ahead. Look at the graph there. White is really, really, really far ahead. Right from now on, this was a good opening, by the way. If you guys want to play this opening, play this with confidence because look how high white is during the opening. This is an educational channel. I brought the bishop out here because I thought it was a good move to telescope this bishop here. I always get them confused. They're not bishops, they're knights. I always confuse them because they're equal in score. But let's see what. Oh, I was thinking about that. If I did that, this pawn would be over here. That was good too, but you have to see very far in the future. If I bring the pawn here, this square becomes very weak for my queen. I don't know. That's so hard to see. I think I did the correct move according to human logic. And there you go. We're still very high. You can see here on the graph, very high in the graph. That move gave me a little pause for. Do you guys remember the soliloquy from Hamlet? You probably don't care, but at one line he says, "Must give us pause." There's the respect that makes calamity of such long life. So he moved this pawn up, and we moved the we moved the rook up. And I was playing a little bit psychologically here because I said, well, we keep moving that rook back and forth. He's going to think that we are completely out of it. And then this was a blunder according to Stockfish, but according to me, it was not a blunder. Why? It accomplished a number of different things, and at the same time, it caused a lot of confusion for my opponent. And the king is pretty safe in that position. Let's see what my opponent did. Put me in check. Oh, wow, that looks dangerous, right? The the bishop is protected twice by the queen and by the knight, and only attacked twice. And it's kind of important for you guys. This is an educational channel, so when you see something like this with equal power, people often get confused. They think, is that good for me or is that bad for me? Especially when they see an equal power of 4 versus 3 or 3 versus 3. And here we have the knight comes here. He's protected twice and he's attacked twice. So is he safe? You know, he's actually safe. And I'll tell you why. Always just go back. Like I do this during the game a lot because I can never remember this, but I always go back to 1 and 1. If you move to a square and you are protected by 1 and attacked by 1, and you move there, I mean, that's not very good, right? So let's see what I did. Let's see what I did. I took him, and he took me, and that was okay so far. But then I brought my queen over here, and I'm still really far ahead. Totally far ahead as white. I dipped down there for a second with that king move, but it was just discombobulating enough to basically win the game because after that, I think the king move won the game. So I took the pawn, took the come up here, attacking the knight with a strong win. Now I was thinking he could have come here, and that would have been a good move actually, because he would have attacked my king, attacked my queen. I would have had to trade, and that would have got my queen out of there. But he didn't do it. He brought his, and that brought me even further up the graph. And then I developed my rook because that's always a good idea. I always say the wrong thing for bishops and rooks. Develop my bishop. Oh, this was an important move, and it actually brought me up on the graph. That was cool. So you guys remember during the game, I left my bishop hanging, and I thought, well, I'll put him in check first because it looks better. Let's just see if I put my mouse here. Let me go back. So he took there, and then if I put it up here, yeah, me and Stockfish agree on this. So That was the best move that I found, and Stockfish also found. Then the king had to come out, and now it's kind of like all she wrote. Um, bum 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 bum. Oh wait, remember during the game I said I want to bring my queen over? It actually said that this was a better move. Now I would never do that because the queen can go in different places. It's kind of a slippery piece, and it might come up here and even protect this pawn. Again, don't believe everything Stockfish tells you. And now it's basically checkmate, I think. Yeah, see? Stockfish is saying checkmate in 3. And I knew that during the game. You guys remember, I said, okay, checkmate there, and that's it. All right. The brainwaves never fail. The brainwaves showed us the way once again. What do you guys think about brainwaves? You love brainwaves, right? I mean, if you love brainwaves, this is the only place to be because Steinitch has brainwaves, has chess, and is the only place that has brainwaves and chess at the same time. On internet, you can look. In YouTube, you can look everywhere. You won't find brainwaves. If you like brainwaves and chess, this is the only place. As they used to say, there used to be a sign. There's no place like this place, anywhere near this place. So this must be the place. And it's very similar to my channel because there's no place like this place anywhere near this place. So you make the conclusion. This must be the place, right? How many people know the 1960s performer, musical artist who was famous for saying, space is the place? If you can answer that question, I'm going to give you 2 free views. Answer the question, you get 2 free views. And without any more ado, let's go back and look at the game I played today before coming on stream. Okay, I'm going to go back to history and we'll analyze one more game. I thought this was a very interesting game because it explains like a lot of the things that I like to highlight in my games online. So these are games that I played. Let me see, 27 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago, 4 hours ago. It must have been this because I played 3 games while online, won everything, right? Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. Okay, so let's do the analysis board on this because this was the game the last game I played before I did the streaming. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and you can see the graph here. This is one of the few games I've ever seen in life where one side, you you might say that my existence is limited, but I don't see very many games like this. One side was positive the whole game, or I should say one side was not negative the whole game because there was a 0 right there and exactly at the beginning. Oh, wait a second. Did you ever notice that? Stockfish gives zero point 0.1 to white at the beginning. So if you're playing white, you're above 0 at the beginning. So here we go. Let's look at this game. This is the game I love to play. It's called the King's Gambit, and you can see the 2 arrows. Stockfish, for some reason, is giving us both. It doesn't normally do that, but it shows my blue arrow that I did, and it's showing its white arrow that it recommends. And frankly, I don't recommend this. I kind of think Stockfish is wrong. Now, you might reasonably imagine that maybe I'm wrong because I'm disagreeing with Stockfish, but it doesn't know everything. And let's see. Let's see. If I do what I did, where am I? Back to 0. Suppose I did what Stockfish does. I move up here. Ooh, is this on +4? Hmm. Oh well, I guess I actually increased my chances, but I still prefer that one. Okay, so I like this one because it is the King's Gambit. It might not look totally like the King's Gambit, but it's consistent with the King's Gambit because it moves that pawn up. And I love playing the King's Gambit. So they're playing a good game. You can see right down here, it's not bad. White has a smaller advantage, but black is not doing anything totally outrageously bad. Also, again, preventing the knight from coming up, no problem there. It's still very level here. I go up gradually. White goes up very gradually. Black has got maybe some more queen mobility here. Attack, telescoping this pawn, maybe. X-raying that pawn. And it's saying that black, Stockfish says that black should do this. But black did that and put me up a lot. That was, in fact, believe it or not, that was a blunder. If you put the mouse here on blunders for black, see the red dot right there when I put see the red dot right there? See, I'll go back again, you can see. Red dot, the red dot right there. It always disappears, but there it is, red dot. So the red dot right there is a blunder. That was a blunder. And basically won the game for me. Um, it might not look like it, but that won the game because look, pushed it up there and then just plateaued out from there. So this is a good opening. Excellent opening. You can do this for your own games. So what do you do after black blunders like that? So just take him and then obvious, not obviously, but that's actually a mistake, right? Yeah, right. I put the mouse right there. That was his one mistake. He made a number of blunders, 2 blunders, and one mistake. So that was his mistake. He took the pawn, but that's a very natural reaction. When you take a pawn, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, what could be more natural, right? And now does anyone see what's happening here? What's the idea of the King's Gambit? And remember, black at the beginning tried to avoid the King's Gambit, but suddenly finds himself in a King's Gambit, right? This is the King's Gambit. What's the vulnerable square? Boom, right there. F7. So what's white going to do? Let's watch what I did during the game. I'm going to click here so you see my next move. Oh, wait a second. Isn't the bishop vulnerable there? Can't the king just take the bishop? Well, yeah, I guess he can take the bishop. But guess what? Stockfish is saying this little white arrow is the best move so that white simply wins a pawn. Because if black takes the bishop, Satchak, man, I'm telling you, you have. Oh, look at those brainwaves, how they just like responded to that. So you have insight. I'm telling you, nicely played. So this was my game before I started to stream. We're going to analyze this. I took the pawn. If black takes the bishop, he's in trouble. Let's see why. Let's see why black is in trouble. Because he took. Okay, that's the next move. Black took the bishop. Do you think he's ahead now because he won a bishop? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. It's not ahead because his king is in a slightly, and I say that kind of facetiously or ironically, vulnerable position because he's in line with the rook and he's also checkable by the knight. And furthermore, moreover, and could I say additionally, the queen can come out along the white diagonal very strongly. Very strongly indeed, because depending on where the knight is, this pawn can't come up to block. Like, for example, if the knight comes over here, the queen can come out, and this knight is protecting. And the knight can't be taken because he's in double check. Furthermore, with one pawn move, I have a bishop coming. The time machine, you're back, man! Holy Christ, with a entire combination. Oh man, let's see it. Let's see. Let's see if that's what happened. Knight takes e5. Okay, let's see. Let's see what I did during the game. This was the game I played immediately before streaming today. So let's see if our time machine is correct. Boom! Knight takes e5. Check. Double check. And double check what? You guys are my loyal students, right? So what do we know about double check? The king must do what? What must the king do in a double check? Think about it. Double checks are important. Why? Because black has absolutely no resource except to move the king. The king must move in a double check. Why? Because he cannot interpose. Because in a double check, you cannot interpose. You're still being checked in the other direction. And he cannot take the checking piece either because you're being checked by the other piece. So he's got to move his king. So let's see what he does. Let's see if he's according to. Yes, he's according to Italian machine. King goes to e8. Now let's see if I discovered the right move. I don't think I did. I would be very surprised if I did, but let's see. Italian machine is telling me queen to f7. No, queen to h5. Let's see if I did that. Oh my god, I found it. I found the continuation. That is so incredible. And look at the brainwaves, how synchronized they are and up high. This is beyond. This is totally beyond normal. So I got. This is exactly what I was predicting. Yeah, even Sajak has an excellent quotation from Serbia. Even the bravest king runs under double check. By James Mason, by the way. For those of you who have read the literature, that was an excellent quotation by James Mason. So the king is in danger along this diagonal. And do you see the knight? The knight is en prise, as they say. Yeah, you're right, Sajak. You got to capitalize James Mason. You got to capitalize it. So the knight is en prise, but he's also protecting this white diagonal, which is also attacked by the queen, which makes this attack so strong. And there we go. Let's see if we're on the line recommended by Italian Machine. King to d6. Yeah, basically you're saying the right thing because the king was on e7. Well, yeah, it could go either way. You're right. But anyway, it went that way, and now the king is on here. And this is where I messed up, by the way. In the game, I should have taken right here as being shown. That's that's the proper continuation. And I only saw that after I analyzed this. I analyzed this game together with Stockfish because watch what happens. If you take that bishop, the king cannot take you because it's immediate checkmate. Because if the king takes there, boom, the queen comes in. If the knight takes, I think you can see what happens, right? Who can see what happens? The king comes down here. I mean, the queen comes down here. The queen has the king has like one place to go, or he can go different places. But then the queen takes here with a check. Is that correct? I don't know. I saw this, but I get lost. Let me just see. Let's go back. So anyway, that is the big move. Not there. That's what I did. This is the correct move. I'll show you what I did later. So it takes there. Suppose the knight takes there. Let's just see what happens. So then the queen comes here. I got that right. And now the king comes up here. Oh, wait. I didn't even think about that. For Christ's sake. That's check. And look, the king can't advance in that direction or retreat in that direction because the queen's there. It's got to come up here. And after it comes up there, the pawn comes up there. And that's checkmate. But guess what? I didn't find that in the game, but I found something almost similar. That was a little bit tricky. I can't. I'm not surprised that I didn't find that. But I didn't do that. I did this in the actual game. Watch. I came up here with the queen. The king should have went back there. If he had gone up there, he would have been still minus 4.2. But he decided to escape up to there. And then watch how this game was won. So I'll go back so you can see. So the king's right here. He cannot retreat because of the queen. The knight comes up there. The king comes there. The pawn comes up, check. The knight is being protected by the queen. The king takes the pawn. And the bishop comes up here, protected by the knight. And guess what? Checkmate. Checkmate. I hope you enjoyed that game. It wasn't a perfect game, but you can see that it was pretty high. I dipped right there because I didn't see that continuation that was kind of tricky. But I did find an acceptable continuation that led to checkmate. And I really appreciate the presence of Sajak, Italian Machine, and of Noob. If you look up into the chat, I'm going to show it right here. I don't know if when I scroll, if you guys can see too. But Noob told me he's got 2K subs, and he's going to tell all my friends to watch my streams from here on out. And I'm set. I'm set. That's why I'm so happy tonight. When Noob told me that, I started winning all my games. Why? Because if I can get that many fans, that many followers, I'm just going to be on top of cloud nine and winning all games from there on out because it's all about attitude, right? It's all about attitude. So plus I got the brainwaves. I got the brainwaves. So anyway, it was great having you guys around. As always, I love my consistent followers. And Satchak always jumps in with games to analyze. And at the same time, I always have um, trying to remember. God, I can't believe must have Alzheimer's or something at my age. Italian Machine. Italian Machine comes in a lot. Always giving good advice. Always gives the continuations and a perfectly acceptable, apt, and excellent continuation tonight by Italian Machine. By the way, and without any more ado, I gotta say goodbye because it's early in Serbia. I don't know where Italian Machine is right now. Probably in Italy, I suppose. But it's really a weird time there too. Extremely weird time. Ah, Canada. Canada. Okay, cool. So you guys can know by internet and everything. It's no secret or anything. This is a broadcast from Panama, from the other side of the Gulf of Mexico, from Canada. And I hope you guys loved it. And I certainly did. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.